Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Speedify Live Office Hours. I'm your host, Alex Keesis, and this is Mike Kane, software developer extraordinaire. And we are here to answer all your questions about Speedify. That's what Office Hours is. You guys ask us questions in the comments underneath, wherever you're watching this video, and we will answer them live without a net. So we have Office Hours is the place to ask us questions. It's not the only place, though. We're also, we're watching questions you ask in this video. We're watching what questions you ask after the live streams. A lot of people come up with their questions later and post them on our other videos. We see those. We get questions emailed to us at support@speedify.com. Always the fastest way to get a response. And questions we get a lot, we have been creating You Asked videos to answer them. And we're posting these on YouTube, where we take a question that somebody asked us on YouTube, someone asked us on support, and I spend 2-3 minutes answering it in detail, showing you how to do stuff in the software. So, one, check out those videos, a bunch of interesting You Asked videos, and two, if you have questions, you should ask them. If you're watching one of our videos, doesn't make sense, ask it. All right. Oh, here's the first question from Roy last week. Hi, guys. If I have some mobile devices connected to a hotspot and the hotspot runs out of data, will pair and share work across the devices?
If those devices have a cellular connection, they will. Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, the hotspot that the pair and share devices are using could not be connected to the internet at all. And they'll find each other. And yeah. All right. Hey, Kitchener, Ontario. All right. My mother grew up in Stratford, Ontario. Right down the road there. I was there this summer. Not Kitchener, Stratford. And London. All right. Yeah. I hope Ontario is warming up is more of the point, right? It's a wee bit colder than it is here in Philly, which is where we are. All right. So if you haven't follow, subscribe, whatever it is, I don't know where you're watching this because we're streaming to a bunch of places. I see people on Twitch today. I see people on YouTube today. Whichever one. Follow, subscribe. I'm not trying to sell you anything. It's just so you get notified when we go live. So here's my question for you guys today. Cell phones. Probably the most common question we've been getting is, that people wish that the two SIMs in their phone could be used at the same time. It can't, because it only has one actual radio. It's switching between the SIM and eSIM. So it looks to you like you have two connections to the internet, but actually, if you try to use them, you realize you have one. What if you could use both at once, but it meant your cell phone was going to be thicker? Would that be a good trade-off? I mean, Apple is always fighting to make these phones so razor thin, right? Like you can shave with your phone; it's so thin. Is that important to you? What if you could get two radios? What if your battery lasted for 2 days? Would that be worth it? Would you take the thicker cell phone, or are you committed to this thin phone you can slide to your jean pocket? I want to hear from you guys. It's snowing some minutes ago. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Coyote.
Yeah. Yeah, my mother's story is of 8-foot-tall snowbanks. Right.
I can't even imagine.
Well, yeah, you get 4 feet of snow, and then the snow plow comes through, and you end out with the 4 feet of the snow. That was just normal stuff in the winter. I don't know if it is anymore, right? Global warming. All right, here we go. Real question all right. I'm having issues with using a dedicated server in Austria. Occasionally, all 3 providers equally lose speed, as if the problem is with the server itself. namely its internet access speed. Any insights? I actually think this might be a contact support, so we can escalate this right up to the DevOps team. Maybe do some experiments with you where they can watch graphs on the server and things.
Especially since it's intermittent, it'd be hard to test each provider if we can't, reproduce it easily.
Yeah. So yeah, reach out to support. We really appreciate the dedicated server. It's a premium option, and you should have a great experience. So, Brian and crew would, I think, love to help you debug whatever that problem is. All right. Yesterday, I was combining 3 USB 4G modems with 3 different providers and 1 5G gateway. Data rate was just 12 megabits down while I did a speed test. Is this normal? I think the answer is it totally depends. I don't know how those modems were doing. What speeds were you getting on each modem?
Taking into account the server.
It's hard to tell if it did a brilliant job of combining 1 to 2 megabit internet connections, or if something strange happened. Getting 50 on each before. I really don't have enough info here. Could be normal. We have a bunch of smarts to do things. In general, Speedify assumes that if you're getting 30 megabits, that could be good enough, and won't add more cellular data to get you much above that. A lot of times on purpose, but you're hitting 12, so that's not what's going on. Yes, I don't know. I kind of need more info. You run speed tests on each connection by themselves? All right. We'll live stream a football game on Saturday, and registered Speedify will have a mobile hotspot and a phone. Yeah, so you join the cellular. You have your Wi-Fi join the hotspots. Now you've got 2 cellulars. Make them both. Well, Speedify will do that. They'll both be secondary. Make sure that mostly my tips are leave the defaults. The bonding mode should be speed plus, right? Speed mode with enhanced streaming turned on. That should make it recognize the stream and prioritize it. It should recognize that the Wi-Fi is really a cellular hotspot, so it should end out both at secondary, which is good. So it'll use both connections. Any other tips?
Software-wise, no, but make sure you have a battery backup.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Run this. We have a stream test built into the app. Before you go live, you can run that, and it tries to upload about 50 megabits. So it's not a full speed test that tells you the actual speed of your internet connection. It just tries to figure out if you live streamed right now, how well would it work? So that's a good idea to see if you need a different spot. It's really good if the 2 cellular connections are on different providers.
Yes.
In the US, there are actually only 3 providers: T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T. Everybody else is one of those 3. But yeah, they all have dead spots in different spots.
So that goes back to one of our questions of the day, right? So if we had 2 active radios, it'd be better if we had 2 providers, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It would be nice if your phone could be on AT&T, Verizon, and you join the hotspot that's on T-Mobile, and now you'd be on all 3 at once with just these 2 devices.
That's an ideal phone,
right? That would be pretty slick. All right. I even take a device with multi-SIM support hotspot that fakes a cell phone device, so it is not a hotspot. Right. So I think pretty much anything I know of with multi-SIM support, you're really picking 1 SIM at a time. But you can get to some spot and be like, let me try my AT&T, let me try my T-Mobile. Okay, T-Mobile doesn't work here. Today we're AT&T. So there's some value to that.
That's very true.
So. Oh, you mean, yeah, right. The SIM card. So this makes a surprisingly big difference. When you activate a SIM card, activate it in a phone, and then put it in your hotspot. Strangely enough, the carriers care more about people's cell phone experiences than their
Oh,
device experience. And
wow.
they figure it out at the moment that you activate. They prioritize phones over it. And it's when you activate the SIM, they decide which it is. So I've had multiple people tell me this. You activate you put it in your phone and you activate it with the carrier, and then you take it out and put it in the device. Don't activate it on the device. Yeah, it doesn't take more trickery than that. You know, don't even have to lie. Just move it.
I feel like that's such an unknown great piece of advice.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Are there future plans too? For example, install the bonding software yourself on your own server. Yes, there are plans. And just moving slower than we wanted.
All right.
So many details. It's coming. I'm not even going to pretend to give you a date. We're working on it.
Our dedicated servers have great prices though, so if you need that kind of service, it's definitely worth a dedicated server.
Yeah, you start run into funny things before, right? Where so tricky things, right? Your server software must be updated by the time our app hits the app store, right? When there's a new version, the app expects all the servers to already be updated. So we have to make sure you're updated. And so we put in stuff to say, oh, we'll take care of it. We'll update your server software for you. But then we immediately discovered that lots of people have terrible internet connections, turn off their server when they don't intend to use it. And so we can't upgrade the software because it's not on the internet right now. And they say, well, right, I didn't need it. I'm not doing live stream, so I shut it down. But then when they boot it up, it has a version of software that doesn't match the app on their phone anymore. So, you know, little experiments, little beta tests in that hit surprisingly nasty wrinkles. So anyway, we're working on it. All right. So we have a new video coming out right after this. So if you're on YouTube, stay on our YouTube channel. If you're not, pop over to our YouTube channel. We're Speedify on YouTube. Somebody will post a link. It's another one of these videos inspired by your comments. We have a whole video explaining how dual SIM phones work. Obviously, this stuff just keeps coming up. So we made a little video explaining dual SIM phones, how they work. It'll be on our YouTube channel right after this. All right. Boop, boop, boop. Is there any way to use Speedify bonding while using a work from home VPN? Timothy asks.
A few different scenarios come to mind, but I mean, it also depends if your VPN is, if it's shoving data through it, whether we can use it first. But I mean, if your home's connected, maybe like a Raspberry Pi router.
That was going to be my answer.
Yeah, that you could connect to Speedify through your router and then use your VPN on your computer. And both.
Yeah, too many of these work from home VPNs are, not letting us jiggle things, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, we did experiments with some of them where we got them to run VPN and it goes into Speedify and then Speedify takes over the internet. But a lot of them, when they see apps doing complicated things like that, they assume that we're in fact trying to hack them.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do is just run the work from home VPN on your computer, but then have like a Raspberry Pi or Linux box or something that's running Speedify that actually has all of the internet connections. So what's coming out of your computer is their VPN. We take it, wrap it in Speedify, spread it across all those internet connections, put it back together, give it back to their VPN. They can unencrypt it, put it in your work Foodie Express. I got at the moment 170 megabits down, 25 megabits up on the Starlink.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. You'll discover it comes and goes. Like I've when I was testing it a lot, I had a lot of time that it would be at 200 down and 50 up. But then, 15 minutes later, it would be, 0, it would be 1 megabit. And then, it would go back. So probably my median speeds were about that. But like the average was much, much lower. Not anymore. If I put a SIM in a hotspot, it now knows. Saying activating on the phone and switching it doesn't seem to be good enough. All right. GIF about my Starlink to the Discord chat. Yeah. Okay. We will check it out. You have to have a fake cell phone now. Okay. James asked, just joining. I may have missed it. Any update on OpenWRT? Is that what you're talking about? We were actually talking about when you run your own server as opposed to the client side. Yeah, we are launching in partnership with one or more hardware vendors, and then there'll be OpenWRT versions. So late this summer, I would say. All right. Oh, hello, Speedify team. Hey guys. All right. Flash TV is saying that they did a double VPN using VMware. Yeah. So if you run a virtual machine on your computer and use the work VPN inside the virtual machine, then out on the real operating system, you can run Speedify. Speedify then has access to all the real internet connections. And what the virtual machine running the work VPN just sees, the computer as one Ethernet. And in fact, anything that sends that Ethernet goes out to the real operating system where Speedify is there controlling the real internet connections. So that works fine. Actually, I was kind of sad. Microsoft just dropped support for the Windows subsystem for Android. I don't know if any of you guys tried it. You could really run Android apps inside Windows, and they worked perfectly. And in fact, you could run Speedify for Android, and it would VPN all the Android apps, and then you could have Speedify on Windows, and it would be getting all the traffic from the Android apps and sending it again. And it all worked perfectly. And it was super impressive, and I actually had no use for it.
I was going to say, it was very short-lived,
I would play with it all the time. Yeah, it was very short-lived. I would play with it, to see, does this app work? Does that app work? Can I get this to work? And it all worked, and I was so blown away. But it turned out there aren't any Android apps. I mean, there's Speedify for Windows. Why would I run Speedify for Android on my PC? There's Facebook for, you run Facebook on your PC. I didn't come up with anything that I needed. All right. Tito says, Speedify really helped me during school exams. Great. Good. I'm hoping that's because it kept you online and, not because it let you cheat. Don't tell me. Tell me it's because it kept you online. Yes, I was able to 10 gigabits down.
I guess that's wondering VMware with Speedify and other VPN.
Huh? My wireless ISP played with Speedify. All right. All right. Johan. Phones don't have to be thicker to have 2 radios. Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 75 modem have dual active data built in. No OEMs have taken advantage of that. Yeah. Last year, around May, Qualcomm got all excited and did all these announcements about how their chips now, they actually have 2 cellular modems. You can use both at once, but requires the phone maker to actually, use this chip and then actually put 2 antennas down. Of course, these things are MIMO, so a lot of them have 4 antennas, so it's actually put 8 antennas down. So yeah, nobody is using it. So Qualcomm has chips. But the phones don't actually exist. And by the time you add, 2 power amps and 2 sets of antennas and stuff, maybe you're right that phones don't need to be thicker, but maybe you're not. Hard to say. I mean, there's a lot of supporting silicon and traces and things needed to support a radio that aren't just in the chip. All right. Boom. Ah, good morning, guys. Thanks for answering my question from last week. Is there a way to use Speedify on more than 5 devices? I quickly run out because of parent share. My best answer is Speedify for families. For the cost of 1.5 accounts, you get 5 accounts, each with 5 devices. That is use a different account on a couple of the devices. All right. All right. So again, a lot of questions here about eSIMs and dual SIMs. We have a new video we recorded to try to explain what the deal is with dual SIMs these days. It'll be live on the YouTube channel right after this, so stay on. If you're somewhere else watching, I see a lot of you are on Twitch today. Go to YouTube, search for Speedify. Where's Speedify? There's a new video about dual SIMs and how they work. It'll be live. And see a link there in the comments, even easier. All right. I see there is a list of sites you can bypass. Is there any way to manually bypass a website from using Speedify? Windows and Linux, the CLI, there are some bypass options where you can add URLs and stuff from the command line. Surprisingly tricky because it turns out a lot of these websites that have CDNs, and the URL you first visit isn't necessarily where all the pictures and videos are being pulled from. But you can go ahead and add some things. Yeah, if you want to get really advanced, you can use the developer tools in your browser as you browse a website. You go to the network view and you can see what sites it's pulling from, and you can keep adding servers to the bypass until it works. That could work. It's a little tricky. Have not made it as smooth as we would like. Ashwin is asking the same question, although he says apps. So I would suggest, Windows and Linux is the command line. There's these bypass options. You can add domains. On Android, we now have and only Android, an app bypass screen, which instead of going by URLs or whatever, goes by it sees what actual apps are installed on your phone, and you can switch them. An Android only thing right now. And you can turn them on so they just go around Speedify. Will parent share be unlimited for private server when it comes out? Yes. Yeah, parent share. General concept, it's free if you're paying for something. All right. Right. Manual apps bypass on iOS and macOS. Don't have a great solution right now. Sorry. A couple things we're playing with, but very annoying. Apple doesn't believe it's any of our business which apps you're using, even though we tried to explain about, all this cool stuff we can do to bypass apps that are getting blocked and stuff. Apparently, Facebook, sh- shockingly enough, had a rather abusive VPN. They claimed to be a VPN, but it was actually reporting back to them every app you were using, and they used it to figure out which of their competitors were getting popular to target them for destruction. And so, because of that, we're not allowed to know what apps you're using, and we don't really. There was no amount of promising we're not reporting it back, and they can even look at our code and see it's not reporting back. They're just done. Facebook ruined it for everyone. So there we go. I'll have to find the video. UFD Tech breaking their Starlink, trying to modify it. Yeah, painful. But yeah, they did neat things. And they did destroy one Starlink trying, but they managed to finally cut the stand off and mount it flat on top of their car and stuff. It was really cool. All right. Roy got really great coverage. St. Patrick's Day parade in
Awesome.
San Francisco, thanks to Speedify. Good. All right. Let's see. What haven't we said? So Speedify 14.6 is the latest version. It's been out for more than a week now, but if you haven't updated, you should update. It's so good, so much better. I think we're probably 2 weeks away from 14.7. So it's going to be in 14.7.
14.7, we got a bunch of parent share improvements. A bunch of more under the hood fixes. 14.6, we came out with SSO, so hopefully everybody's still using Gmail. But yeah, let's 14.7. Let's put some more focus on parent share. So if you guys have any feedback, if you guys been using the features or anything you want to see, anything that's confusing, send us a message and maybe we can get it in for the next update.
I really like the single sign-on.
Yeah.
I just, you click to sign in, you click log in with Google. Yep, done. 2 seconds. I don't have to fish around for a password anymore. Up to you. You can still use the password. We didn't take it away, but we now have the login with Google, login with Apple, and it is slick. All right. Here's an interesting question. How do you determine bypass connection preferences when there are multiple connections? Is there a way to set bypass connection order preference for specific apps and services?
Nope. Nah. That'd be kind of cool.
I think the order is we try to use what the operating system says is the default internet connection. If we see that's not working, then we go pick another connection that Speedify thinks is pretty good. But basically, if it works, we just give it to whatever the operating system says is the best way to the internet. I got to admit, part of why Speedify exists is because operating systems do terrible jobs of picking the correct default internet. Yeah. So. Two Wi-Fi parent share still broken. It will only show one network device. Really? What operating system are you on? We would like to test that. Is that a Windows computer on 2 Wi-Fi? Linux computer? I don't know how to get a Mac on 2 Wi-Fi or an Android or an iPhone. So Windows. Yeah, there we go. All right, Windows computer on 2 Wi-Fi networks. You're only seeing them on one. We will check that out this afternoon. TV network. Here. All right. Yeah, so we're using Restream Studio here to do the graphics and stuff, and we have hit a terrible problem. Just in the last 2 weeks, every time we switch scenes for 10 seconds, our microphone stops working. And it's only in Restream Studio, and it's horrendous. And thus, I'm not switching scenes on you. I don't know if anyone uses Restream Studio and has any tips. Has anyone ever seen that? So if there's 2 phones on one network and 5 phones on the other Wi-Fi network, only the one with the 2 phones show up. All right. All right. We will try that.
Mhm.
All right. They use Restream. You know, a couple weeks ago, I would have defended it. Told you this is great. But man, just broken. Their support has been, trying to convince us it's our fault, but it only happens in their
That's
app.
that's a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're both using it. We're using the Restream Studio, which, yeah, it gives us the options to do this graphic on the top and stick our name over here in the comments, and then multi-streams it. I use OBS server for that. Yeah. The reason we use Restream Studio instead of just OBS or Ecamm, we're on a Mac, so we are using Ecamm here as well. We're using Ecamm into Restream. I left that out. Is it's really good at remote guests. We don't have remote guests today, so this is sort of overkill and just making trouble for us. I mean, I think Ecamm, just using Ecamm on the Mac, leaving Restream Studio out would make sense. But so many times I have remote guests, so this is just my setup. Ooh, trying to get an SRT server installed now. SRT, the future, and it always will be. It's like fusion power. But no, actually, did I hear right? Does YouTube now support SRT? Oh, YouTube now supports SRT, then it has arrived. It's a real thing now. Restream stopped telling us to buy a new Mac. All right.
Thanks, Restream.
All right. Well, we're here at 10:36. We've been on for more than half an hour. Are there other things we have not said? So, new video. I mentioned support, explaining SIMs and eSIMs and tube SIMs. Live on our YouTube right after this. Speedify 14.6. If you guys haven't updated recently, it's time. New and better. And I think that is about it. So yeah, if you have questions about any of our videos, post them. We do watch the comments and sometimes answer them here, sometimes turn them into a you asked video. So that is that. And if we didn't get to you, or if you're one of the people with questions so complicated, I said to email support. Here we go. Email support. Speedify.com. Pretty good. eSIM bad. All right. Little rage against eSIMs today, I see. That's good. Important to be opinionated. All right. I think we are done. We are out of here. We got to go work on Speedify 14.7. Try to get that out to you again next week.
Yeah.
Not quite sure. Losing track of time. All right. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody who asked questions. Yeah. Thank you to everybody who lurked in the background and watched. Appreciate all of you. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you all online.